Good evening or afternoon to everyone who is
Depending
watching.
where you are.
Depending where you are.
Time travel.
And it starts. Hope everyone's having a good time. Chris wasn't here last week. He was on his honeymoon, so that's why we didn't have our episode. We're back this week.
And I'm very relaxed.
Very relaxed. We also have an interesting topic today. Chris?
It
what's
is
our topic?
called the Mandela Effect. Now, some people actually believe that Mandela died in prison and he never actually rose as a president, which crazy to think because that's like something super major in the world. So how could you think that didn't happen? But some people thought it never did. Shows that some people in this world, don't care about what happens in Africa. But it brought up other topics, such as how logos are done. And so some of them are really crazy.
Not just logos, but characters as well.
Characters. Like Pikachu.
Oh my god. Okay, so Chris, we always see what we're talking about before our episode, right? And Chris was like, yeah, we're going to do the Mandela Effect. I'm like, all right, perfect. I had this discussion 2 weeks ago with someone. And he's like, what color's Pikachu's tail? So before I actually answer, let's see if there's anybody there. Well, we only have two people. So I wasn't going to ask if we had more viewers, but what is Pikachu's tail color, right? The tip is black. Lo and behold, I went and checked it out. No, it's completely yellow. And even some pictures has a white tip on it. What? Since when? So I called my brother up. John, but what color is Pikachu's tail? Black. You see? Yeah. Well,
Yellow.
we saw it growing up as black.
Like a little tip on
like
the
a little
black
tip
on
is
the top. That's
And
it.
it was even a squiggle on it. I 100% remember that. So now, the other advocate is, well, maybe they just changed the characters. Could be, but what are all the other coincidences? Looney Tunes. How do you spell Looney Tunes?
So, according to this Mandela Effect, it's supposed to be spelled Tunes. But I really, and I mean it, I remember it being said Toons.
Always.
Always.
Ask your parents. I'm sure they're going to say the same thing.
But it turns out it's not.
What do you say?
No, someone else joined us.
So,
So
yeah.
there's a lot out there saying these things are changed, especially the Monopoly man. I really believe he had a magnifying glass on one of the eyes, but some say no, and it's
I remember it as well, too.
crazy.
And again, being on the phone with my brother, what do we ask him?
Same thing.
Did he have Did he have a glass eye or a glass above one of his eyes? Yeah, with a cane and a top hat. Yeah.
And
well,
if you
apparently
do
not.
some research, a lot of people in the world have done surveys, and a lot of people don't believe it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It really, really is.
So what do you think is? Okay, so we might be a little abstract with all this, but what do you think is the main cause or the effect of all this? Like, how deep can we go with this?
Well, see, for me, a parallel universe is the fact that someone right next to you is experiencing life in a totally different way. And if you ever think of the question, what if, it's the idea that, oh, what if I made that decision back when I was a kid? Or maybe I made this decision when I was a kid. And it really always comes down to that. And so these choices lead to different universes. But who's to say that the person next to you isn't that parallel universe right there? Because imagine, I grew up the way I grew up, but you grew up the way you grew up. Who's to say that your universe of your own perspective is a parallel to mine? Because like right now we're sitting parallel to each other.
What if it's just a matter of perspectives after?
Well, then that's a question too, right? What if perception starts with a P because it's related to parallel?
I love how you decode that all the time.
Maybe it's all in our words because words are magical.
Yeah.
Words are sorcery, right?
They all cast spell. Every word you have always casts a spell.
Imagine, just stop makes you stop at a stop sign. It's more powerful than you because you've been doing it since a kid watching someone else drive. So, maybe if you decode the words, you decode the reality of what's going on.
Look, there's again, we're gonna go back with Marvel and the DCs and stuff. You know, I'm not one to watch TV as often as I should, or not that I should. There's no should, whatever. I'm not one to watch TV often, but when I do, you know, I like to watch, The Flash or some kind of Marvel or DC. And when you look at these episodes, a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them, in their last seasons, it's all parallel universes. It's all a multiverse. It's all, well, in the future, on this planet, on this Earth, and then they come back and they come into our reality of a world that they live in. And it's funny to see all this, because what if that's actually true, right? Again, that what if it's actually true? But how will we ever know? How do we ever know if there's actually, I mean, look, not for anything, we could go into the spiritual realms and stuff that we're not alone, and we're not, right? There's other life forces for sure. I mean, there's a galaxy for a reason. So what if other universes can actually communicate with us, can actually see us, but we're actually not open to it, or we're blinded by it?
Well, talking about blindness and vision, because I think vision's the main word
Well,
here.
yeah, he said the metaverse.
The
Exactly.
metaverse. Well, and that's a good argument right there, the metaverse, because creating something out of a computer, programming it, in itself proves that it's possible. And if you look at any type of numerical, like especially how buildings are made, it's made based on a mathematical thing. It has to be made in a certain way. If it's done in a certain other way, it collapses. So there is programming going on all around us. But I'm happy you brought up vision, because our eyes, I think I read somewhere, it only captures 7% of the light spectrum.
Huh. Well, yeah.
So
exactly.
there's a lot of spectrum of light we don't see.
Oh,
So who's to say?
There's a big reason why there's a lot of aspects in the world that we don't actually see. And even when you look up into the sky, when you actually focus on the sun or the moon, okay, maybe not the sun because you get blinded by it, but the moon itself, you could see how potent the light around it actually is. You could see the energy around it. You could see the light through it when you actually focus on it. I mean, I've done the experience. I see it. And the more you focus on it, the more you see that it radiates more and more.
And
It's the same
talking
thing.
about the sun, if you wear sunglasses, you can look at it. But that in itself proves there's glasses out there to see stuff that we don't see right now. Right? There's vision.
Well, the night vision,
stuff
like that, right?
Right. So there's obviously a parallel something there. Couldn't we see it yet? No. Will they want us to see it? That's a major question, because if you were to start seeing certain things that scare the living hell out of you, would that be good for society?
But again, that's just a perception. Fear is just a perception, right? So,
True.
are we told that we should be afraid of something? Whereas maybe looking at abstract objects or things or people, we shouldn't actually be afraid of it, right? And then that could bring up to the topic of blissful, unconditional love, peace, joy. You're not afraid of anything.
And that in itself is a frequency of its own. We discussed frequencies in the past in the way that, like a phone is a perfect example of frequency. Being able to communicate with somebody all the way in Italy, it's a frequency. And that frequency is what connects my words to someone over there. Like this video to someone over there. So there's obviously something going on. And like you just said, if we see it, if we perceive it as bad, it will be bad. But if you perceive it as good, then it will be good.
Let me take this an extra step now. Telepathy.
Ah.
So if I'm able to take a phone with a frequency and I could call someone in Italy, there's a frequency there. What if my own frequencies, if I elevate my own frequencies to a higher vibration with the same person or the one that you want to talk to, and someone has their own higher vibration over there, who's to say we can't communicate and that's our own telephone, cellular phone?
You're totally right.
It's a frequency, right? We're just trying to wave on the same frequency.
Who's to say that's not ancient technology right there?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you look at how I really love those experiments where they put the frequency at a certain level and the sand goes into a specific format. It's insane. But think about it. There's for sure some type of simple technology that we just don't know how to do anymore because it's gone. Like, and I can bet it's a simple thing, super simple. But to go back to the multiverse, the parallel universe, and how do we know? How do we know what's really going on when CERN is turned on? CNNE?
CERN.
What he said. And you know, they used it 10 years ago, and when these conversations of Mandela effect starts coming out was 10 years ago. So there's a connection there, because when that thing happened, they created a little universe in that major. That's the goal of
There's
this
a reason
thing, right?
why. There's a reason why there's 4 countries involved in this CERN project, where it's highly confidential. We know nothing about it, and we could go back into energy fields as well. And the minute they opened the CERN a couple of weeks ago, I felt like a complete total disaster the day after when I woke up. And I was, the night before was a nice walk outside. I was energized. I had my night's sleep, everything. And the morning, poof, I wake up. I'm like, what's going on? And you read on
the news,
social media. Not even the news. It was more social media. But they opened up the CERN again. So when you're connected with the energies, you feel a vibration shift right there. So I pretty much can say on my opinion. Obviously, it's always our opinion. You guys are open to your own opinions, but there is definitely not a coincidence, but a parallel
connection.
To
There's for sure a connection, and let's be fully honest, there is, because the fact that something is secret means something's being hidden, and if something's being hidden, it's because they don't want us to know. So our curiosity comes out, and there you go.
Question like that. But since they actually opened up CERN, did you see July? Did you see July pass?
It was very fast, actually.
It was way too fast. Like, literally, we always say that time is speeding up, but how much quicker could it be going?
Actually, fun fact, you can watch a video on this. A day on Earth is technically 23 hours now.
Yeah. I heard okay, obviously TikTok, but I don't use TikTok. But my mom saw that on TikTok and she's like, check it out.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's been confirmed by highly recognized scientists that we've lost a whole hour.
Actually, no. Was it 23 hours or was it 23 hours and 59 minutes? Something like
Point is, we were always losing a bit of time because we're moving faster and faster towards the sun. So, makes sense, right? Because the further away, the longer the day. So if you look at how long it takes Mars to go around the Earth, it's not 365. 65
days.
65 days. It's much more. But the closer you get to the sun, the less. And that's possibly why the Earth is a little more hotter, because you're closer to the sun. But some people want to sell us electrical cars instead, which are way worse for the environment if you find out how they make those batteries. But that's a whole different topic.
And then the batteries afterwards.
And how you get rid of them. So, parallel universe. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it very possible?
Leave it up to you to do your own research.
Is it making you go crazy a little bit? Being like, I'm frozen. Was that chair always there?
But you know what? again, we're always going to go back into energies, and when you tap into energies and when you feel aligned, you can actually, because we always talk about different dimensions and energies, right? The 4D, the 5D, and you go higher and higher. We could actually tap into any other dimension and see ourselves. We could actually see ourselves sleeping, technically, if we actually focus on it. We could do a lot
Astral
of things.
projecting.
Yeah, astral projecting. There's a lot that we could do sleeping or subconsciously, and we haven't even tapped into that. So imagine all the other parallel universes or meta universes or whatever you want to call it that we could actually tap into with other people if we actually focus on it.
And you saying you didn't feel good after CERN was turned on is the same thing like deciding to go outside and the weather has changed, right? Like at one point it's really cold, then at one point it's really hot, and then boof, you have a cold. Same thing can be happening in the way that you felt really good one day and then you feel like crap the other day, and it's like, wait a minute, did something happen? And then boom, on the news, CERN was turned on, and CERN is creating little universes. That is literally what that experiment is all
Well,
about.
they're also trying to figure out different portals or dark holes and stuff like that, dark matter. The whole point of it is it's a particle accelerator, it's a particle finder, I guess. It links to particles.
And the first time they ever turned it on, they were terrified. They actually thought we would be sucked into a black hole.
Imagine a black hole about this small can actually suck up the whole world, the whole Earth.
Because it's negative antimatter, I believe, and it sucks in whatever matter is next to it.
So we'll leave you guys to do your own research on that.
Check out
So hopefully you'll like this abstract
conversation.
conversation.
Did the Monopoly man have an eyeglass?
Did Pikachu have a freaking
Black.
black tail?
Black piece of his tail.
The black piece of it at the edge. It was on a slant. I even remember it vividly in my head.
I remember playing Smash Brothers and hitting people with the tail.
We're gonna go play it. We're gonna go play it.
Oh yes. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
We'll see you guys next week.
We care.
We care.